Hello, it's Mr. Miller. Welcome to video number 66. This is on circumference and area formulas for circles. And I want to do a few quick examples. We want to be able to go from radius to diameter to area to circumference. So whichever one of those four I give you, we can find the others. So here's some practice. We're going to practice one example starting from each fact. So on this first one, we're going to start with the easiest one, is when we know the radius. So we have a circle here. The radius is 3 centimeters. So we can fill that in right away. Radius, 3 centimeters. The diameter is what we get when we go all the way across the circle. So it's 2 times the radius. That'd be 6 centimeters. Nothing new for you guys. To calculate the circumference, the distance around the circle, or the circle's perimeter, we have the formula. So we can use the first one here. So C equals 2 pi times R, which is times 3. We could find a decimal for this, and we'll do that later. But for now, I'm just going to be kind of lazy and leave it as 2 times 3 is 6 pi. That's actually a preferred answer because it's exact. It's not an approximation. Okay, so area. Area equals pi times radius squared. So that'd be pi times 3 squared, since 3 is the radius. 3 squared is 9. So I have pi times 9, or we usually write that as 9 pi. And since it's area, it would have units centimeters squared. 9 pi centimeters squared. If we want a decimal, we could find it. All right, next example. Here we go. So, want to find the following information? Well, this time we know the diameter. Get my pen working here. So the diameter is 14. So let's fill that in first. We get one free one here, so 14 centimeters. Okay, diameter is all the way across and radius is half of that, so this is 7 centimeters. Once we have the radius, we own the problem. You're going to see that in the next couple examples. Even though a little bit more complicated, once we have the radius, it's good as done. Okay, so circumference is 2 pi r, so C is 2 pi times 7. We can multiply, there's 3 numbers being multiplied together, a 2, a pi, and a 7. The 2 and the 7 we can multiply, that gives us 14. We still have times pi. This time I'll put the units in. It's centimeters. Circumference is a measure of length. Okay, area is pi times radius squared. Okay, 7 squared is 49 times pi still. Again, we can always find the decimal. And this is centimeters squared. We're going to have plenty of decimals in what's coming. All right, easy. So if I give you radius or diameter, no problem. All right. This is not so bad, but it is a little bit harder. This time we're given the circumference. That's what this means. So that means the circumference is 42 centimeters for this circle. So let's fill in what we know. Okay, on problems where we have the circumference or given the area, usually we have to find the radius. And once we have the radius, we can get the others. So let's write down the formula for circumference. Circumference is 2 pi r. So 2 pi r. If we fill in what we have 42 equals 2 pi times the radius. 2 pi is just a number, okay? That's what, and we can just divide by it. In order to solve for r, we can divide by 2 pi. If you're backtracking, you can think of it this way. R times 2 pi equals 42. So we're going to start with 42 and divide by 2 pi. So we could actually backtrack this. We can remember to keep parentheses around there because we're dividing by that whole thing equals r. This gets a little annoying. We could keep it like that, but I went ahead and found the decimal. So if you go ahead and do 42 divided by 22 pi, you should get 6.68. Okay, now times that by 2, you get the diameter. And to get the area, we'll do pi times the radius, 6.68 squared. Well, I got a decimal going here already, so I'm just going to make the whole thing a decimal now. So it's 140.19. It'd be centimeters squared if you did that. So that's the answer there. 140.19 centimeters squared. All right, all of that we did in class. This is kind of new. This one right here, we didn't do this in class. And this is kind of like the last thing in this. Given the area, we got to find everything else. So this time the area is 24 centimeters squared. Again, let's start with the area formula. Area is pi times the radius squared. Let's put in what we know. We know the area is 24. Okay, we're going to have to do two things. The first thing we're going to do is divide by pi and kind of solve for r squared, get it by itself. So we're going to divide both sides by pi. All right, when I do that, I get a decimal. I get 7.639 is equal to r squared. Well, we got to do one more thing. We don't want r squared, we want r. So r is the square root of that number. And if you just do it on your calculator, you get 2.76. So solving r is a little bit complicated, but it really has two steps. Dividing by pi, and then to undo the squaring, we take a square root, and we get the radius, and then everything else is going to come quickly. So that'd be centimeters. Multiply by 2, you get diameter, which is 5.52. Then, to get circumference, right here, we have C is 2 pi r, which is 2 pi times 2.76. And if you just do that all in your calculator, you get 17.34 centimeters. Awesome. Okay, so I think you guys are not going to have a problem with this, finding the radius given the area. Let's do one more example like that, and we'll be done. All right, here it is. So, and this time we're given the area of the circle. So we're given that area is 160 centimeters squared. So let's put that in here. 160 centimeters squared. Okay, we find the radius, we find the other stuff pretty quickly. So start with the formula since we're given area. A equals pi r squared. So let's put 160 equals pi times radius squared. We're going to have to divide by pi. Okay, 160 divided by pi is not a friendly number. It's 50.93. That's equal to r squared. So we want to know what number do we get, or do we multiply by itself to get 50.93? That's the job of square root. All right, that's a little bit more than 7. So we get r equals 7.14. So 7.14 centimeters. Times it by 2 to get the diameter, so that's 14.28 centimeters. And the very last thing, like last time I kind of ran out of space, circumference is 2 times pi times r. Multiply those three numbers together, we'll keep it a decimal for now, and I got 44.86 centimeters. Okay, that's the way it's done. So given any one of the four, we can find the others. All right, so I have just two for you to do for the journal assignment. On this first one, we're given the diameter. The diameter is 10 centimeters. Go ahead and find the other four quantities. And in the second problem here, you're given the area. So I don't know if that's a little hard for you to see, especially if you're watching from your phone, but the area is 68 centimeters squared. That's the fact you're starting with. You're going to find the other three things. Good luck.